find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the second count of the information, Richard McGinnis, we the jury find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the third count of the information, unknown male, we the jury find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the fourth count of the information, Anthony Huber, we the jury find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the fifth count of the information, Gage Grosskreutz, we the jury find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty.
Members of the jury, are these your unanimous verdicts? Is there anyone who does not agree with the verdicts as read?
Yes! That's what I'm talking about right there. So, very good news all around about the Rittenhouse verdict. I already knew that this is what was going to happen. He was going to be found innocent on all charges. Because if you've followed the actual trial... See, here's the thing. Okay, let's be clear. The media botched this from day one. Okay, when this happened, he was a white supremacist. He was going there to start trouble. He brought a gun across state lines, which is bullshit. He's a racist. He was looking to shoot black people. He was looking to start fights, to start chaos, which is not true, okay? And if you've watched, I think there's 40 plus hours of trial video to watch, you will see quite clearly that the media has twisted it and spun it. And now that he's even found innocent, they're doubling down on the shit, okay? So let's go over a few things. I'm not going to go over the entirety of the trial. Quite frankly, if you're believing the media at this point, well, that's your own fault. But just seriously, watch. If you have some time, watch the trial. You will realize how wrong the media was. So let's start first. The first thing they said, he crossed state lines with a gun. First of all, no, he didn't. Okay, it was proven in trial. The gun never left Kenosha. It was in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and was given to him by his friend. Second of all, they said he was a white supremacist. Well, they went through his phone, his laptop, and everything else. No signs of that. They said he was going there to start trouble. Nope. What actually happened was he was going there to protect a business. Okay, and let's be clear. People say he shouldn't have been there. No. You know who should have not been there? Let me tell you. Let me tell you who should not have been there. The people tipping over porta potties. The people who lit dumpsters on fire and pushed towards a gas station. The people who were rioting. The people who were looting. The people who were burning buildings down. The people who were damaging property. Someone's livelihood. At what point does their right trump your right to defend yourself and your property? People are going to say, well, this verdict of him not being guilty is going to go out there and influence more people to go out there and do the same thing. Good. I hope that's exactly what they do. We need more of that. When the police can't do it, the left is constantly screaming, defund the police. Well, this is what you get, right? And he didn't break any of the laws, so let's go back. He showed up earlier that day to clean graffiti off, okay? Then he was asked to go protect a business. I don't see a problem with that, considering there was going to be known rioters and looters and arsonists and whatever have you. So he showed up, brought his AR-15 that was given to him by his friend in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Okay, and here's the other thing. Under Wisconsin law, he was legally allowed to have that rifle. Okay? It's not an assault rifle. It's an AR-15 semi-automatic. Okay, and he was allowed to have that under their law. So that's a big thing. That's why, excuse me, those charges, the gun charges, were dropped in court. He was legally allowed to have that. Now, he wasn't legally allowed to have like a pistol or anything like that. The gun had to be a certain length, certain style, but he was allowed to have it. Then you have the 5 times, I think it was 5 times, if not more, convicted pedophile, serial child rapist, Joseph Rosenbaum, who started chasing him down, and prior to him, the incident of him being shot going down, he told Kyle, if I catch you alone, I'm gonna fucking kill you and rip out your heart. Something to those lines. And then, that's when Rosenbaum started chasing him. Okay? Rosenbaum that night was already pictured tipping over trailers, porta potties, lighting a dumpster on fire, to which Kyle put out. And Rosenbaum pursued him. Right? The courts are trying to say that he instigated the fight. Well, I'm sorry. You have to be one dumb motherfucker to go after someone who's got an AR-15. And he does it. And he gets shot. And he dies. Right? No love lost. Kyle then goes to the police barricades where the police had sanctioned off certain areas, went there with his hands up, and they basically shoot him away. And then he got chased again. And then he shot, it would have been, what's his name? Anthony Huber. Anthony hit him over the head a couple times with a skateboard, which, by the way, that could kill you. He shot. Then Gage I can't pronounce his name. He's a criminal anyways. Who pulled out an illegal Glock pistol, aimed it at Rittenhouse's head, and then Rittenhouse vaporized his bicep. That's what I call good shooting. And in court, he even testified that. He goes, I was not shot until my gun was drawn on him. Okay? So there's no surprise. If you watch all the videos, everything he did was in self-defense. He never shot no one that didn't deserve it. And I'm sorry, if he's apparently a white supremacist, he's pretty shitty at it, considering the only 3 people that he shot were white. The Gage Grosskreutz guy, he lived. Obviously with I would imagine, pretty disfigured arm. Anthony Huber and Joseph Rosenbaum ate the dirt, right? And let's back up. All 3 of these guys were actually convicted felons. So there's that. But this goes back. This whole thing wasn't about Kyle Rittenhouse per se. It was about the ability to defend yourself. Okay? And I don't care what anyone says. Rittenhouse had just as every right to be there as those assholes burning down the city. Okay? Let's be perfectly clear with that. He had every right to be here. And the other thing too is they're saying, well, if he was black, okay. Well, here's the other thing that you probably don't realize too. This right here. Yep. This guy was found innocent on all charges except for gun possession. And what's the color of his skin? He's black. So my whole point to all this, and people still believe the narrative that he's a racist, he's some little asshole that shouldn't have been there, he was instigating. No. Get off your ass, watch the trial, stop believing the mainstream media that persistently and keeps on lying to you. It's mind-boggling how many people still latch onto the tit of social media and mainstream media. As an example, before the trial, or I guess before the verdict, I should say, I had posted this picture of Kyle Rittenhouse. I was 30-day ban. I'm still on a ban. By the way, fuck you, Facebook, because I'm still going to find a way to post this and bash your platform. Anyways, I was banned for 30 days. Okay, fine. Well, now, Rittenhouse has been found innocent. Guess what? Still fucking banned. And if the media was to have just done their job, okay, let's step back. Why was Kyle Rittenhouse in Kenosha? Why were there riots? Jacob Blake, the guy who raped his wife, showed up. Police tried to arrest him because there was actually a warrant out for his arrest. He goes into the car, grabs a knife. Police tell him to put down the knife. He doesn't put down the knife, so they shoot him. And they paralyzed him. Didn't kill him, paralyzed him. And there's still riots. This goes back to the media bullshitting and lying. At one point, I have to ask, at what point is the media going to be held responsible for the chaos? They want to sit there and say Kyle Rittenhouse was an instigator? Well, really? Because so are you, CNN. So are you, MSNBC. So are you, ABC. You're instigators. MSNBC was booted out of the courtroom because one of their reporters was tailing the jurors. That's jury intimidation. That's a felony. And they're saying the judge was racist. They're saying he was biased to the right. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, that judge was pretty fair. It's not the judge's fault that the prosecution shit themselves at every turn. They brought on Grosskreutz to testify for them and ended up working out in the defense. Then he brought up Kyle Rittenhouse's Fifth Amendment when the judge had already barred him from talking about that, yet he did it anyways. So many misconducts were done. And the judge still let it go. A lot of people were believing that the prosecution is doing so bad that they were trying to get a mistrial because they realized they had nothing. This should have never went to trial in the first fucking place. Whether or not you agree Rittenhouse should have been there or not, the law states he had every right to be there. He had every right to have the weapon that he did, and everything he did was in self-defense. They're trying to say he was a mass shooter. Well, from the time he shot Rosenbaum, the first guy, to the time where he went to police, nobody was shot. He wasn't aiming his gun at anybody. Very good trigger discipline, I'll give that boy, and very good shooting, I'll tell you what. But the media won't let you believe it. They won't. They just keep spinning and spinning and spinning. And now you have people like Joy Reid, and you have people at CNN going, well, you know, he is a white supremacist, and he was in... Fuck you. No, he wasn't. We need more people like Kyle Rittenhouse who are willing to go out there and defend their shit. The mob doesn't control us. The mob doesn't get a say over what we do or can and defend. People want to say, well, you know, it's insured. Really? How long does it take to build back these businesses that were burnt down? What do the employees do in the meantime? Who pays for that? Just because you want to sit there and protest, that's fine. You're allowed to. But the minute you start rioting, burning down, looting, destroying, and victimizing other people, that's when the collective majority should get together and show the mob who's boss. If more people had balls like that, these riots wouldn't be happening. Instead, they want to go out and they want to defend child predators. Who, as far as I'm concerned, what the hell was he even doing out of wherever he came from? He should have been. Joseph Rosenbaum should have stayed where he was. You know, yeah, you can sit there again. Kyle shouldn't have been there. Well, you know what? They shouldn't have been there. Police didn't do fuck all. So what do you expect? How much is too much? When your shit right in front of you, your property is being burnt down to the fucking ground. It's being looted, vandalized. You're being assaulted. David Dorn, who's a black guy, was shot over a TV trying to defend a pawn shop. No media coverage out of that. All I can say is that this verdict is very good. It shows that the right to defend yourself is still a thing. Unless where I'm from, which is Canada, and then in that case, if you defend your property, you'll get arrested. That's a whole different video. The point is, he did well. You know, he stated after that if he could do it again, he wouldn't have gone there. But, you know, hindsight is 20/20 always. But if more people had that mentality, or were at least stood up for themselves, then these riots would be non-existent. They wouldn't happen. And if the media stopped fucking around and stopped bullshitting and stopped spinning the truth and stopped promoting race at every goddamn turn, we wouldn't be here. And think about that. Every opinion that you have politically, every opinion that you have on a story, every opinion you have on a crime that went down, every opinion you have on international or foreign news, it's always twisted through this lens of whatever narrative the media is trying to push at the time. And it's bullshit. And I hate to say it. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Fox. I fucking can't stand CNN. But I will say there are shows and media outlets such as the Daily Wire, which is conservative, but it's honest. Even if you're on the right, they call it out if you screw up, right? Many private small media outlets now like that are becoming more factual in their reporting because that's what people want, right? CNN's viewership has fucking plummeted to the ground. You know, you have people like Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo, morons, complete morons. Brian Stelter, oh, don't even get me started on that guy. But they twist the narrative, and their viewership is plummeting because people realize this. That's why you have, say, Tucker Carlson from Fox. When CNN's ratings started plummeting, his ratings went up through the roof, right? Small media outlets, like I just mentioned, the Daily Wire, they're going through the roof because people want the facts. And people are getting tired of this narrative of race and how just creating a divide that is dividing everybody at this point. It's pitting neighbor against neighbor, family member against family member, brother against brother, black against white. It needs to stop. And once people realize and wake up as to what they're doing, and start independently looking at different sources of news, then I think it'll get better. And they just, again, when they doubled down on this Kyle Rittenhouse thing, it proved my point 110%. Because even when the not guilty verdict on all counts came in, people were still... I read one comment. The guy's like, in Facebook, he made a comment. He goes, I don't know the full story, haven't watched any of the trial, but someone told me he crossed a gun with state lines. That's all I need to know. Okay, dunce. Small, minute details do matter. That's why they have a trial. You know, even the prosecution screwed up by giving the defense a lower quality video from a drone. So the defense had no way to really have a rebuttal because you couldn't really see anything on this video. And then they tried to digitally enhance it. Meanwhile, the whole fucking time, Binger, which is on the prosecution, had the high def video. And then claims, oh, I didn't know. Bullshit. Yes, you did know. You knew full damn well what you're doing, and your case was falling apart. And then he, as far as I'm concerned, he was trying to throw a mistrial, and the judge should have given a mistrial with prejudice. Right? A lot of people on the right are saying that. I personally think, because there were a multitude of times where what the prosecution did, any normal judge would have been like, okay, that's it, mistrial, whatever. But he let it go through to the jury. Because if the jury came back not guilty, then his job is done. And he did make numerous statements that, you know, he can throw a mistrial, or he can do this, or grant a mistrial, sorry. And he took that under advisement. At the end of the day, like I said, if you are surprised by this outcome, I highly suggest finding a different media outlet. You know, watch more than one. And if you're on the left, and you look at a news outlet and they're on the political right, give it a shot. I mean, I watch CNN every now and then. I go to their politics page because I want to see what they're talking about. Because they've divided us so well now that people on the left only watch their news, and the majority of people on the right only watch their news. Well, if we just started switching it up and looking at the whole of what the media is putting out there, we would see pretty damn quick the narrative that they're trying to drive. And it's always racism with them. Everything is white supremacist this, white supremacist that. I don't know one guy. You can't tell me for 1 second that anybody on the left, whether it's Antifa, BLM, that they're actually worried about white supremacists showing up. There is not enough white supremacists for the demand that they claim is there in racism. It just doesn't exist, right? I've never met anyone who is a, quote, white supremacist. But you hear the left screaming about it all the time. You know, Kyle has to live the rest of his life with this shit because he chose to go out and help instead of like every other teenager sitting on his ass playing video games and eating chips. He decided to go out and do something. He was helping people with first aid during these riots. Fuck, when he shot Rosenbaum, he tried to help Rosenbaum, but the mob was coming in on him, so he couldn't sit there and help him. That's the entirety of it. And again, just if you don't want to watch all of it, watch key parts of it. Right? Key parts. And stop, for the love of God, my main point of this video, stop believing the mainstream media. They are, as far as I'm concerned right now, and even where I am in Canada, because we parrot so much of what the American news media outlet does. Like, so for example, you know, CNN will report something, and then Canadian news will report that exact same headline. They're public enemy number one. And as far as I'm concerned, there should be charges going up against some of these so-called reporters. You want to talk about inciting violence? During the Derek Chauvin trial, Maxine Waters was sitting out there going, if it's not guilty, we got a riot. It's insanity, yet no one holds them to the gun. No one's held accountable. They just keep doubling down, keep doubling down, keep doubling down. It's ridiculous. So instead of just flicking on, a media outlet and watching it, give a few a try. Do some reading, especially from both sides of the political aisle. You may find out how much in common we actually do have, the political left and right, if we get this bullshit media out of our way. Well, that's it. Drop a comment, see what you like, or tell me what you thought. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And until next time, we'll catch you later.